can have it your way when you're dealing with a king. You can have it your way when you're dealing with a king. You can have it your way when you're dealing with a king. You can have it your way when you're dealing with a king. You can have it your way when you're dealing with a king.
Welcome, and introduce yourself to us.
Again, I'm Harry Brown, owner of MB Towing, hence the MB. That's what I do. I tow. Own this one company, Towing and Recovery.
Cool. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm 28. Everything pretty straightforward. I don't know. I'm about to say I'm black, but obviously, right? No, I'm 28 though. Had a towing company for going on 5 years. Started right before 2020-ish. That's pretty much me. That's what my life revolves around right now.
You tell us what you did before towing.
Before towing, I worked at AT&T on the corporate side of things. I did pretty well there, and that was like, I was salaried there, not hourly. So it was a little bit different. That's one of the situations where you put a lot of work in. Your pay doesn't change because you're salary. So I found myself in one of them predicaments. It was super hard for another company. And I figured I'd transition to my own thing.
And what led you to towing?
So a friend of mine, like I tell you right now, EO Motors, I was there so much after work and going there. And I always knew I'm on my own business, so I was just trying to figure out, based off my everyday life, how can I add value to what's going on around me. And I feel like towing just worked. I seen cars getting towed into the shop every day. It seemed like it was simple to learn, which it was. So it was more so just adding value to my everyday life, and it benefited the situation because now as soon as I get the towing company, I had a direct line with the shop. He's calling me for tools, and it was just simple. I was around mechanics every day, body guys every day. So I didn't want to learn that.
And next question for you. So after being around at the shop and everything and seeing everything how it's ran, so how would you, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate how easy it is
to get into?
Yeah.
It's not hard to get into. It's not hard to get into as far as, because you can start off as an employee working for somebody like myself, and we probably start you off on roadside tire changes, lockouts, jump starts, stuff like that. So it's easy to get into. Now running a business, that's a whole different world. Running a business is one thing, but getting into towing and learning the towing is not something that's super hard to do. It's not overnight, but it's not months drawn out to learn how to tow.
What was the hardest part
of getting into the business? To get into the business, the hardest part from owning the business side of things is, I would say, licenses and things of that nature. Not necessarily licenses, but insurances. You're a startup company, you have difficulties getting insurance. Because with towing companies, insurance is high. Each truck, when I first started, each truck was $1,000 a month for insurance. You get an accident or something like that, or a claim on the insurance, I know people that's paying $3,000 a truck. So it's just like, when it comes to stuff like that, if you don't got a nice amount of capital when you start, you might have a little bit of a dilemma because you got to put down payments down. You got to have these insurances, not only for your customers, but if you're paying roadside contracts and things of that nature, that's necessary. And when you have like a license, it's called a DOT number. That's so you can travel within the state, and you got an MC number, and then you can travel out of the state. They have coverages that you have a minimum on, so it has to be $1 million coverage, period, anytime you have a towing company. So that's an obstacle. As soon as you jump in, that's the first hurdle that you're gonna come across. It's crazy, but it makes sense though, because imagine you got a car in the back. You say you got a flatbed and the car comes off on a highway. It might be $1 million in damage. I don't know. So I get it, but.
So as far as the coverage, how long is the term? Do you have this month-to-month basic or something you have to put like 6 months or a year? Nah.
So the coverage, yeah, it's a 12-month thing, and then every 12 months they renew you. Depending on how the market is, it may go down, it may go up. You add, if you had a claim in the middle of the policy's term, or if you added a vehicle, it always fluctuates, but based on my experience, there's always one up, there's never one down.
So for all the ones that's trying to get into it, be ready to pay.
Be ready to pay.
So like everything else, you're gonna need capital and hard work, right?
Hard work, yeah, this is one of the businesses where you get out what you put in. And that's a good thing for people that know how to hustle and really work hard. You're working hard for another company, or you find yourself at your 9 to 5, longer than 9 to 5, you put that same due diligence into your craft, you should be good. It is lonely in a truck though, I can tell you that. You might be working with a team of people on an everyday basis, but when you're in a truck, you might be working 16-hour days by yourself. You might got some music going on, but that's about it.
And roughly about how many tows would you say you do a day on average?
See, I'm a little different. It depends. I would say what the average should be is 7 to 10 per truck. If you start off by yourself, 10 is a good number. 10 is a healthy number. Sometimes when I first started, I wouldn't go in the house until I did 10 tows. But I more so look at a dollar amount, because some tows you might be doing a 3-hour tow. So I like to look at a dollar amount and say, hey, I'm not going into the house until I make this each day.
So what would you say the hardest part of getting started? And I asked you this already. What's more important? Is it asset or is it your hard work?
So I feel like it's the key to everything. I wouldn't necessarily call it hard work, because some people might say hard work is easy work because if you enjoy it, but I feel like it's the being disciplined, because you don't have somebody telling you, hey, go do that tow. It's all self-driven. So as long as you got the discipline to work hard, even when you have your better days, because sometimes you might have an amazing week prior, but when a new week starts, you still got to go out and do that same thing. Or the discipline comes in when you have a bad week the prior week, and sometimes it might discourage you. You might not see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you still go and work hard, even though you don't know if your hard work will always pay off, but sometimes you don't know when it's going to pay off, right? So you got to be okay with that. I'm gonna work hard no matter how long it takes for my hard work to pay off.
Okay. Question: how would you describe
my driving record? I never in the trucks.
Just in general, because that helps towards the insurance and stuff like that too.
It do. So I never been in an accident prior to even owning the truck. I did get into one accident. Well, a cop hit me. That's a little different. It wasn't my fault. I was coming down the street right away, no stop sign, no lights and nothing. He came out the stop, he blew a stop sign, no lights on nothing, just like that. And then I got hit. So that really didn't make my insurance go up. I actually, to be honest, other than that, I never got into an accident personally. But my drivers have.
And that affected you. So when your driver did get in an accident, what was the consequences?
Oh my God. So the first accident, I ain't gonna say no names, it was a buddy of mine. So when I started the company, I started out with a friend of mine. He actually taught me how to tow. Shout out to him. He taught me how to tow. Another one of our friends told him how to tow. Then it was like a trickle down effect. So he taught me how to tow, but he was still in his learning phase too. So he just told me what he knew. So the first time he got into an accident, he called me and he was like, hey, I gotta, because in the towing business, accident cars, that's money for us. That's like striking gold almost. So we happy when we get accidents, opposed to a regular tow where you might get X amount. An accident sells a little bit more when dealing with insurances and things of that nature. So I was in the shower. He called me. He was like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, what's up? He said, I got 2 accidents for us. And I was like, all right, cool. Bet. Talk to me. He said, oh, I got a charger. Happened in the Upper Darby area. I told that. We're waiting to get paid for that. And then he said, the second one was me. I said, what you mean? It was you. Like, it threw me off. But mind you, I'm in a good mood, the spirits. Because I'm thinking we got 2 accidents. And he said, the second one was me. I said, what you mean? He said, it was mine. This day was snow outside. I'm talking about like not a blizzard, but it was pretty bad outside. He said I was driving down. I tried to hit the brakes on the red light. I slid through the red light and I hit a Ford Fusion. I said, nah. I said, hey, what you mean? Because now I'm shocked. Now it threw me off. He said, I said, is it bad? He said, it's bad. I said, is it total? He said, it's total. I was like, where is that? He said, it's at Ava. He took it to the shop. I said, all right, so we're gonna look at that in the morning. I get there. Ford Fusion, probably like 2014 body style, cooked. Cause you gotta understand, trucks is way heavier than cars. So if a truck hit a car, good night. And it was one of them situations where it was just like, but I didn't even file an insurance claim for that though. We took care of that on our own situation. But then fast forward, probably that happened on Friday. Fast forward a week later, but it's Thursday, so not quite a week, 6 days. He called me again. Yo, he was like, I got into an accident. I said, what? He said, yeah, some girl was playing in the Altima, she hit me. I said, where you at? He told me where he was at. We get there, 3-car accident, truck blasted. Because the first time the truck didn't really endure that much damage. But this time, we had to call Ava Motors because by then they got tow trucks too. So we called them, they came and towed the truck. And again though, we didn't file an insurance claim for that either. I don't even know, it was no real consequence for that. The way I thought it would work is, because somebody allegedly hit him and he hit somebody when that happened, but the lady tried to go through our insurance company and our insurance company didn't claim fault. So that got swept under the rug. So after that, he started doing something else. I think he started working on cars and stuff like that. He stopped towing for a little bit.
Right, he decided driving wasn't for him.
Decided driving wasn't for him anymore. I think that was the best for him.
After the first accident.
But every driver I ever had got into an accident.
Would you say it was more towards the driver not paying attention or just accidents happen?
So with him, accidents happen once. I don't know about twice. So the second time maybe it's some type of negligence. But even another time we was coming back, I was riding with him, this random day, We was towing a car from Jersey to Philly. And he was driving, I was in the passenger seat. We had a customer in the vehicle as well. And we're coming past a gas station. Just a random Altima coupe comes out. Like they sitting there, like they're trying to exit and they go. I guess he didn't see him and he just hit the car, the whole side. But on paper it was her fault. But it was more so like, I seen her. I don't know how you ain't see it. Yeah. So you hit her. But that wasn't even like, that's just him. I've had worse accidents than that where people won $1 million off my policy. It's getting bad. That's what I'm saying. It's not all peaches and cream.
Everybody think you just wake up and that's why we're here anyway. But how do you handle work-related stress?
So I feel like being an entrepreneur is more so that's what you do. I feel like being an entrepreneur, the definition, in my opinion, is putting out fires. And I feel like the better you are at that, the more successful you will be. So at first I would be stressed out, super stressed out, but then once stuff like that, story I just told, start to happen, everything else a little bit compared to that. So as long as it's not this or not that, I can look at the brighter side of things. So I really don't be stressed out no more. I can look for solutions now before more than dwelling in the stress.
So the tow truck business was the first business you started after working for AT&T, right? Okay, and it's been going good, been going great. So did you put heavy hands in any other businesses?
Yeah. So I started a trucking business. I'm talking about over the rule 18-wheeler. I started the business there after I was doing well with the towing. I tried to transition just so I could diversify where my money was coming from, because sometimes towing does slow up. So I'm like, if I got a truck over the road, that might work out for me. But he ended up crashing too. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I just don't vet my drivers properly. I don't know.
Didn't happen, right?
Still. Accidents happen.
That's crazy though. So after the accident, you just...
Because it cost me, that accident basically cost me $20,000. And I'm like, I can't survive too many more 20,000 accidents from this company. It's like my bread and butter, so it's just like, I just like to chill off of that for a little bit.
And you sold the truck and everything?
Sold the truck, sold the trailer, and the driver, he did it. I think he started working for Uber or something like that.
Oh, shit. Tell me about a time when you made a mistake and how you handled that situation.
So, trust me, my business is not all accidents, but it's just I have so many accident stories. But I've been doing it for 5 years. So the time where I made a mistake and I handled it, I was doing super good. This is when I first started. I'm still learning though, but I'm out on my own, doing my own thing. Had a tow out in Delaware. This is my last tow of the day. Made $1,000 that day. That's probably, I think that might be my first $1,000 day. So I was like, super hype about that. So I was towing the car. I went to go drop the car. So in the back of the car, I was towing on a record, not a flatbed. So I had dollies on the back. So I dropped the car, unstrapped it, moved the truck up, and then the car that I had on the back started rolling back down the hill. And the car that was directly behind it was a Q50. Blasted it. Boom. The car I towed had no damage. The Q50 had obviously front end damage. Mm-hmm. The owner of that car came out. I was like, yo, this is a rental. Like, I don't know what y'all want me to do. I can't just take this back like that. So I'm like, well, what's your deductible? He said, this is a deductible from, this car is from me getting an accident. So I got in an accident, I paid $1,000 deductible. So if I get in an accident again, I got paid $1,000 deductible. So took all in my pocket that day and just gave it to him. Never heard about it again. So it was just like, money can fix it. I'd rather money fix it. Because some things money can't fix, and those are the things that's a little bit harder to deal with.
That's actually a good thing. $1,000. You made $1,000 just to get it back out to somebody else.
I know. I'm like, I worked this hard all day for nothing just to make it. That's a mistake I wouldn't make today though, because it's a whole different process. That was kind of negligence on my part a little bit. I should have knew better.
You would have just went through insurance?
No, as far as just the proper procedure when you dropping the car off, you always drop the dollies first. You put the dollies on, you drop them first as soon as you get to the drop-off spot. That's the first thing you do. You do it the opposite way. Now, if the car is rear-wheel drive and the car is on dollies, the front wheels is just free roll. So if it's on a hill, you cooked. And I know that now from that experience. I've never made that mistake again. And when I train drivers and stuff, that's the first thing I say. Make sure you do it this way. Then I give them that example. So I guess mistakes are lessons.
That's true. So would you say that mistakes, like I said, you have somebody else that takes over?
There you go.
Go back and forth. Mistakes. Seems like you handle it. What is your greatest strength and how do you apply it to your job?
That's a good question. I feel like my greatest strength is being personable. I know how to talk to people and make them feel comfortable like they already knew me. So I feel like that works when I'm going to these different shops and dropping cars off where maybe the person that's at the front desk or if the owner comes out, they gravitate towards me and it gives me more business because now, well, hey, I like that guy. He did things right. Good guy, cool guy. I I pass out cars everywhere I go. So just being personable grew my business to the point where people I didn't know before called me for tools. They work for me or something. They don't have to. There's 1,000 towing companies out here. They don't have to call me if they choose to, based off first impression experiences.
So what's more important, repeat customer or new customers?
I would definitely say existing customers.
Existing customer.
I would say existing customers. Of course, you always want to do new work, but the existing customers are going to be customers that keep you afloat.
That's true.
And existing customers create the new customers. Word of mouth. Hey, I got a tow guy. He can do it. That's where a lot of my customers come from. I got this guy I deal with. He put me in the right direction. That customer comes, existing customer, and it's like a domino effect.
All right, now back to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So you're on the internet, you see these repo stories. You have any funny repo stories, or you don't do repos?
I don't really do repos, but I definitely got repos. So with repos, you gotta have licenses and stuff and different insurance for repos. But I've had plenty of situations where I was repoing a car, because we do illegally parked cars sometimes. So we got signs put up around the city, and if you park here, we come to get it if you're not supposed to here. Apartment buildings, businesses, things like that. So it was just one time where we had signs put up, and the customer called me, or the owner of the business called me and said, hey, there's a car here, you're not supposed to be here, they're at the bar. So I went there to get to tow the car, and as soon as I get there, it's on the hook. The owner comes out, the owner of the car is already up here. So I'm not gonna take it, but you gotta pay a drop fee. The drop fee $100. Unless you go to, you gotta pay $200. Oh no, we're not paying nothing, it's our car. You know, they curse you out, put my effing car down. And then it gets a little messy, and it's like, it's either I'm gonna drop the car or I'm gonna stand on business. But I got the owner of the business standing right there watching. So I feel like I gotta stay on business. I can't just let it go. So long story short, the bears they had in their hand from the bar, they ended up throwing them at the truck. I ended up taking the car to the lot. It sat there for like 5 days, came back, like the dad of the girl that it was, came back and was like, oh, we apologize, what's the charges? It was like $1,000 by then. I made up, I was fine. But it was like, I had to get a paint correction on my truck and all that.
Their insurance?
I should have, but I made $1,000, so it was like, cool. I know a detailer to take care of me.
So
over $100. Cost them $1,000, plus you ain't have no transportation for the whole week. I didn't, and also I don't have remorse now too. That's just another experience where it's like, who told you to touch my car? Who told you to park here?
That's true. Consequences for your action, right?
Exactly. And they were drunk too, so it was just like, you gotta carry yourself a little bit better.
$100.
Pay $1,000.
No car. That's fucking crazy, bro. It's crazy repo story. So as far as like repoing, right? And you said it's a different insurance on it.
Yeah.
And when you watch the video, you watch the repo trucks going through people's yards.
Yeah.
Who covers that?
So when stuff like that happens, crazy repo stories, these situations. So repo insurance is different because it's a much riskier business. Basically taking somebody's property. It's the banks, but they feel like it's theirs. So when you see them drive over trucks and stuff like that, typically, you will file So the thing with personal car insurance, they don't have high coverages like tow truck insurance. So I've seen instances where people drive their car off the truck, damage the truck pretty bad. I'm sure the tow truck driver would file a claim through their insurance, but I'm sure it's not going to cover it fully for the damages that the truck costs. The trucks are expensive. So you would file through your insurance as well, but your insurance won't go up because of that though, because you're not at fault.
Makes sense. Shit, I want to know. I'm asking a question as far as a repo driver driving on my lawn to get my car out the driveway and he damages my grass. Does his insurance cover it, or is it, oh, it's your fault, bro? She should have given these people the car back.
Nah.
It's property damage, right?
No matter how you imagine he doing it and you came out rowdy and he hit your mailbox. That doesn't mean that you're here to get the car. Mm-hmm. You're not here to knock down the mailbox and put tire marks in the grass. So that's definitely. I've had situations like that when I went to tow a customer car and then I try to maybe got like a nice black top that was just done or something like that, and I go to pick the car up and maybe the lift scrapes the black top a little bit. Mm-hmm. They'll file an insurance claim for that.
I feel like that's unfair though.
It is unfair. But filing insurance claims are basically like sue. People sue for. I had a buddy of mine, he towed a customer car, the customer got out the truck, fell when he got the truck and then sue his insurance and won. So it's just like the day we live in, you can get away with a lot of stuff.
He got out the truck not paying attention.
Right. Fell.
Sue and won. It's a justice system, bro. Damn, that's crazy. It's like I said. So as far as those crazy stories and tow stories and stories with your employee, what would you say has helped you to become who you are today?
I would just definitely say well, other things I've been through as far as this business is just the patience that I've developed over years. When you got constant fires to put out, you get a level of patience that is needed in any business. So I don't really get worked up no more. It's hard for me to have a day where I'm just super stressed out. I'll be like, I know it's a way out of this, because it usually is. So I feel like that's always my goal, is to figure a way out. And I feel like it works for me though.
How long would you say it roughly took you to gain the patience? How many years?
I've been doing this for 5 years, going on 5 years. It took me going on 5 years to get the patience.
Going on 5 years. So you're stressed out for 5 years.
Yeah, I was stressed out for 5 years. I just got the patience, yeah. I'm a little bit older too though. I started when I was 23, I'm 28. So I guess patience come with life.
That's true. Thanks for stopping by.